I'm sitting in front of the holy mountain of Arunachala in Tamil Nadu, South India. I've been asked to give an explanation of just why so many people consider this to be a sacred place, a holy place, and why some of them, such as Ramana Maharshi, say this is the most sacred, the holiest place in the world. So I'll rewind a little bit, and we'll start with the foundation myth of Arunachala. The traditional Hindu story of this place is that long, long ago, Brahma and Vishnu, two of the three principal Hindu gods, were having a dispute as to which one was the greater. Shiva wasn't present, but was aware of their dispute and decided to teach these two gods a lesson. So he came here and manifested himself as an infinitely long column of light and challenged the two quarreling gods, whichever of you two can find either extremity of this column of light will be considered greater than me and greater than the other god. So Vishnu took the form of a boar and he started burrowing down into the earth. Brahma took the form of a swan and started flying up to try and find the top of this column. Vishnu went down and down and down for thousands of years. He gave up, came back, prostrated to Shiva and said, "You're greater than I am. I couldn't find the bottom of this column. I give up. You're greater than I am." Meanwhile, Brahma had been flying upwards for thousands and thousands of years and was getting understandably a bit tired, but he didn't want to give up. So he then saw a flower floating down from the top of the column. So since this is an old myth, we have talking flowers. So he asked the flower, "Where have you come from? How far is it to the top of this column?" The flower, which was actually a screw pine flower from a pandanus plant, said, "Don't waste your time trying to fly any higher. I've been falling for thousands of years. You'll never make it to the top of this column." So Brahma was feeling extremely tired, so he felt, well, if I get this flower on my side, we can cheat. If this flower will back up my story, that I found it on the top of the column, we can both go back to Shiva. I can say I got to the top of this column, and then we can claim the prize of being considered the greatest god. So he talked this flower into telling a lie. He said, "I'll take you back to the bottom, and we'll tell this story to Shiva when we get down." So Brahma came back, got the flower to say, yes, he picked me off the top of this column. He went to the top, and of course Shiva knew this story was completely wrong. He knew they hadn't got there, so he cursed Brahma to say, from now on, there'll be no Brahma temples in India. Nobody will worship you. This is your curse. And to the flower he said, "You're now considered unholy. Nobody may use you as a flower for temple worship." I think in the whole of India there are only 2 Brahma temples, and nobody uses this flower for worship. Then both gods realized that they were humbled. They realized that Shiva was the greater god, so they prostrated to him, asked for his forgiveness, and they both accepted his superiority. Then, according to the tradition, that the column of light was far too bright, far too dazzling for anyone to see without being blinded. So the gods asked Shiva if he would remanifest in a form that would still be Shiva himself, but which could be seen, visited and worshipped by pilgrims who wouldn't be blinded by the light. Shiva accepted the invitation, and he condensed himself into what you now see behind me, the mountain of Arunachala. So the key thing to understand from the perspective of a Hindu who sees this mountain is that we're not talking about a mountain where Shiva lives or which is associated in some way with Shiva. This rock behind me, for thousands upon thousands of South Indian Hindus, is Shiva himself. This is a living rock lingam that doesn't merely represent Shiva. What you see behind me is the physical form of Shiva himself. Jnana Sambandha, who was probably the oldest Tamil saint to write about this place 1500 years ago. He called this mountain Jnana Tiral in Tamil, which means a distillation, a condensation of jnana. So that was Ramana Maharshi's favorite description of this mountain. It's Shiva condensed, solidified into a form that is pure knowledge, pure Godhead, if you like, which stands physically in a location on earth where pilgrims can approach and worship it.